Okay, we're live now.
Yeah.
Uh, we got our intro music. This is the lo-fi version. Okay, well, we'll wind that down. It's kind of fun. I have all these cool controls on my end. Okay, hello, everybody. My name is Josh Walker, and I'm the founder of the Memorial Market. And you're watching episode 1 of what we're going to call the Memory Makers podcast. And we have my friend Michi here, who is an incredible human and jewelry designer. So, yeah, without further ado, welcome Michi to number 1, and thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting me. This is really fun.
Yeah.
I've never done anything like this before. I'm just an artist behind the scenes, so I'm super excited to, get out there and share what I do and share what you're doing. This is really, really exciting. Thanks for inviting me. I'm glad to be the first.
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah.
And what everyone doesn't know is Michi was so kind to invite me out to her studio and actually made me a piece, which we're going to get into. But Michi has this incredible studio in her backyard, and it's so serene. And it was this beautiful day, and we had snacks. And we actually did this once before, but the audio was all messed up, unfortunately. So this is round 2, and I think it's going to be even better. But we are going to show everyone some photos that were taken that day, and maybe some video too, if I can figure it out.
Cool.
But yeah, so before we get to all that, why don't we just start at the beginning? So well, not beginning, but who are you? If we just had to just do a quick snapshot, who's Michi?
Wow. I would say I'm a human walking the planet looking almost like a fairy in the woods for the sparkles. I'm just walking around looking for sparkles. And I feel like they're everywhere if you look for them. And my idea of a sparkle is that little moment that you have where you're filled with joy, or you're inspired to create something, or you just want to reach out and pet an animal, or say a kind word to somebody, or sit and watch the leaves blow in the wind. I mean, there's like magic everywhere around us. And I can tell you that I wasn't always this way. I led a very fast, focused life with a career, and it had its fulfilling moments, but I had a time in my life where I was doing this live-in work. I'm a chef by trade for most of my life. I've been a chef by trade, personal chef, so I worked in people's homes. And I had this year of 10 deaths. I had 8 of my clients pass away, and I had my fiancé pass away, and then at the end of the year, after all of this, I had my father pass away, which was a really big deal. I was a daddy's little girl, it's like that big moment when let me shut that off.
I like your ringtone.
Thank you. Always nature. It was
Yeah.
actually an owl, like this little guy right up here.
Oh, I love it.
Anyways, I had this moment in my life where all of these people left, and I thought, I really need to change the way my life is going. I want my life to be full of joy and connection and grounding and peace. And I think all the things that most humans strive for, even though we may have ambitions, I think all of us at our core really strive for connection and peace and joy. And I said, how am I going to get these things? Because I feel so sad right now. I've kind of lost all these people. These people all left. There's this big transition. And when someone leaves, it's just a kind of a spark inside of you to say, well, why am I here still? Like, what's my life about? And gosh, I thought I want my life to be more about than about accomplishments. I really want that feeling of I'm having a real experience. It's almost like a spiritual awakening. I want an authentic experience.
Mhm.
And so over the years, because this happened 15 or so years, 20 years ago, uh, I I kind of developed in a way into this idea of the sparkles, right?
Yeah.
Looking for them everywhere, spreading them when I can,
Mm.
you know,
Definitely do.
encouraging others to sparkle on me or to sparkle for themselves. And I'm going to tell you, it's the fastest way to feel connected and to
Uh-huh.
feel joy and to feel peace, because peace really comes from, this idea of being okay, in the world. And I feel really okay when I'm watching sparkles happen,
Mhm.
whether I'm contributing to them or I'm just witnessing them.
Mhm.
I know that I'm part of something bigger than myself. And this, in my career, which we're going to get into, my new career of being an artist, I went from cooking on a stovetop flame to going into the studio and
Love that.
working on a flame.
Yeah.
It was really fun. It was barely a transition for me, but it was a really fun transition. And uh, going into this, I now get to help spark other folks
Mhm.
that I don't know, that are spread out all over the world. And I get to help them connect with what brings them joy, peace, and love.
Mhm. Like a
And
conduit.
it's really a fulfilling way to, I mean, we all have to create some sort of money to eat and
Totally.
house ourselves. But I really don't, that's not my motivation for it. It's just
Yeah.
the after effect that comes from it.
Exactly.
And it feels good to be able to have a career or a daily life choice, if you will, that brings in my resources, but also connects me spiritually to so many people and to this idea of spreading sparkles.
Mhm.
So I feel really aligned and fulfilled to do this work. I feel called to do this work.
Mhm. I
And
feel
I think that's one of the things that is a must in life, is to feel called to whatever it
Mhm.
is you spend your days doing.
Yeah, this purpose on this planet that's deep within you, you know. I think a lot of people have a hard time finding that, you know.
Amen.
I'm still looking in some ways, and this project is in a lot of ways that for me, because I know I can touch so many lives and help so many
Mhm.
people,
Nice.
just like you are doing. You know, we're in that same realm. Okay, well, let's just get right into it then. So,
Okay.
what do you do? And let's tell people what you do exactly.
Well, so I consider myself a memorial artist. I call myself a memorial glass artist because my medium is glass. And It kind of all started. I grew up in a really small town, and I went to the school K through 12 with the same 60 folks. So you can know it was a really small school. But I was really, really, really serendipitously lucky to have an art teacher whose mother was a goldsmith, and she brought silversmithing to our tiny little school.
Yeah, it's so cool.
And I'm gonna tell you, anytime I had any kind of time to get out of class or to study hall or whatever it was, I was in the art room.
Yeah.
And I spent 4 years of just making jewelry out of silver. It was so
Anything.
much fun to
Wow.
have that outlet as a child. I mean, we all kind of come in with different talents, and
Mhm.
you just kind of like, they're inside of you and you have to kind of like get them out. Some folks, it's like, go into sports and you get your energy and your creative abilities out that way. It can happen in lots of different ways. For
Mm,
me, it's physically taking something and making it into something else.
mhm.
Okay, it's not painting necessarily. It's physically manipulating something. And so at the first it was silver, and so I would consider myself an amateur silversmith for a long time. I even took it in college as well.
Cool.
And I remember somebody during that time of me making these pieces for people, because what sparked me then and still sparks me to this day is being able to feel the person, think about the person, intuit the person on some level, and then make a piece specifically for them, that is really what excites me. It's not just the making of the piece. It's the making of the piece for that person. And
Mhm.
so somebody said to me, I think it was my auntie, she said, "You should go and do this professionally, become a jeweler, or, become a whatever." And I said, "Auntie, I don't know. I don't want to mass produce. That takes all the joy out of it for me."
Mhm.
And so there was this beautiful, it was a beautiful kind of falling into memorial jewelry because in a way, every single piece is custom.
Mhm.
So I'm taking glass. I now work
Mhm.
with glass instead of silver. I take glass and I heat it up. And as it's molten, it starts in a stick form. It's hard, like, glass in your window. And then you put it in the flame and it melts down into lava, essentially.
Mhm.
And then you place something inside of it. Vibrationally, you place something inside of it, whether that's ashes or hair, placenta, a love letter, a picture, whatever it is, we're going to put the intention of your love for some place, some person, or some pet.
Mm.
We put it into that glass, and then I mold it into whatever shape it is that we're talking about. A lot of people really, really love hearts because hearts tend to be like a very symbolic thing. When someone you love passes and you want to make a piece, you make a heart, like
Yeah, I was gonna say you're wearing one.
like my little heart. This actually has sand in it from the spot where my husband and I jumped into the water. We had a ceremony where we jumped into the water. And so this piece doesn't have ashes. It has sand from the spot where we jumped, and it's the color of the water where we jumped.
It's so cool.
So there's a lot of different ways you can see that you can put this love intention into the glass. So what really sparks me in being a memorial glass artist is not so much that we may or may not have ashes. It's that feeling of the vibration of love. We somehow figure out whether that's color or an actual item that we can burn into the glass, the shape.
Mhm.
There's a lot of different ways to symbolize whoever it is or wherever it is that we're trying to put into the piece. And that we get to the essence of that, and then we put
Mhm.
that into the piece.
Yeah.
Because when you're wearing it, I hardly think of my piece. I wear it all the time, 24/7. I don't think I've taken this piece off in years.
Mm.
Okay. Um, but my skin feels it. My subconscious knows it's there. My whole being knows it's there. When I'm walking on the street and someone sees it and it brings out the color in my eyes and they go, "Wow, what a beautiful little heart you have there." There's this idea that I'm connected to a moment in time or a person or a pet in time where I was grounded in love.
Wow. That's
And
that's
so
everything right
I
there.
feel like that is like, I mean, we all want to spread joy and we all want to have a purpose in life. And this is my very, very small way of just kind of touching whoever comes to me with a piece, is finding a way to vibrationally increase your frequency
Mm.
to
I love
love.
that. Yeah.
And then you can share it with others when they see it and they say, "Wow." And then you can tell the story just like I'm
Right.
telling with you right now. And I'm being transported to Kauai on that boat, and I'm thinking of how much I love my husband and how much I love that island and how wonderful it was with the breeze in my hair and jumping into that warm water. And like instantly your spirit changes, your body changes. And that's what I'm after
Yeah.
in making the pieces. That's what drives me. So even if I don't know the people like I did when I was in high school and I was in class and I was making pieces for people that I knew, even
Yeah.
though I don't know you, I'm connecting with you on some level and we're doing that kind of work together. And that's what drives me.
I love that.
Yeah.
When somebody would like to create a glass memorial piece of jewelry,
Hmm.
what's the process look like? Walk us through how that works.
Okay. So sometimes people just find me because I talk about a piece, right? Other times people find me online. However you find me, I always tell people it's best to look at some pieces that I already have,
Hmm.
okay, to inspire you.
Which we can do
Although,
right now as well if we want, or we can do later.
but I prefer to do custom pieces. In fact, when I started, all I wanted to do was custom pieces. I had this really long questionnaire and I wanted to find out all about you and what sparked you, and we would create a piece together. And what I found is that most of the masses don't really enjoy that process. They're not as artistically minded as I am. And so that process was daunting. So
Hmm.
I say to most people, just go to my site or go to Memorial Market, see what's there and see what you're drawn to. Maybe it's the color you're drawn to, maybe it's the shape you're drawn to, maybe it's the size, whatever it is. And if it doesn't feel quite right, like there's something off, you can always contact me. I love to do custom pieces. We can talk about other ways to make it vibrate a little bit closer to your wants and
Yeah.
desires. But basically look for a piece. Once you decide on a piece, or we decide on a piece together through custom work, then you will send me, if you have any sentimental item, whether that's ashes or hair or love letter, whatever that happens to be, you send it to me, and then I will take that and I will place it into the glass while I'm on the torch when it's hot.
Hmm.
So with ashes, that's a beautiful process in that you can see the ashes in the glass
Yeah.
if you choose. Some people don't like to see the ashes. You can have them hidden in opaque glass. So it's inside. We know it's inside, but you don't have to see it.
Yeah.
Whatever suits your fancy. I actually really enjoy looking at ashes. I think they're beautiful,
Me as
especially in
well.
transparent glass. You can see them in the sunlight. It's incredible. Like this one has sand. Sand is also really beautiful to see in the glass. It kind of makes the glass just a little bit more special because there's something floating in it.
Yeah.
Um, but then once I make your piece, it goes into the kiln. And the kiln, it has to kind of ramp down. Glass is temperamental, so it has to cool very, very slowly. And as it cools, that takes about 8 to 10 hours. So a
Oh,
piece can't be done really quick, even
really?
though it may take 30 minutes on the torch. It's going to take half the day before I can even look at it. And then
Hmm.
I have to evaluate, did it come out of the kiln okay? Are there any imperfections? That sometimes I do remake pieces. So anyways, the day, it takes about 2 days, because then the next day I've got to put on the bale, like the little piece that holds it. I've got
Hmm.
to put the bale on, or prepare it in some kind of way for you, put it on a cord. So it takes about 2 days, but I would say um, I really ask for more like 2 weeks at this point,
Yeah.
because you never know
Some back
what's
and
happening
forth.
or how many orders I have before you. And listen, for me, this is a very sacred process. So I go in and I listen to music. It's very soothing. Or if the person wants to tell me music that the loved one connects with, or that they connect with the loved one.
Yeah.
For me, it's this very humbling process, and I want it to be joy filled and I want it to be connective. So um, I'm very present during it, and I don't like to rush that.
Hmm.
So although I can work quickly, I don't like to work quickly, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Totally.
So I like to have that time to make sure that the process is peaceful, because this is your loved one potentially that we're putting in here, and I want to really honor that process, and I want to feel good, and I want you to feel good, and I want the piece to be good. I want everybody to be good. So I kind of protect myself with a buffer zone of 2 weeks.
Yeah. I think that's smart.
Yeah, to, make it more meditative in a
Hmm.
way.
Got
And
it.
then I send it back. Anything that I didn't put into the glass, I send back to you, um, in the mail.
This is a good time.
Somebody's got one to
Okay,
open,
so everyone, so
right?
um, Michi was so kind to have me over, and I got to see the studio, and she made a piece for me. So there's no ash in it. We put sand in it. Can you remember? I'm trying to remember what we chose. State,
Yes, you were super excited about black sand, and
yeah,
I have a collection of sand from all over the world. I have several black sands. You chose sand from Iceland.
that's
So
right.
the black volcanic sand from Iceland is what we put into your piece.
So I remember it being black. I just couldn't remember because there were a couple that we were looking
Yeah,
at. I couldn't believe that you had sand from so many places. So
yeah,
I feel
I
like I
love
need
the
to bring you
collection.
sand when I go somewhere now.
Please.
Oh, that's a sweet note. That's lovely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so this beautiful little box. We got a nice little bag. All right. I'm so glad we're doing this live too. This is great. I've been wanting to wear it, but I needed to do this video so bad. So
All things in perfect timing, Josh.
yes. I
So
think
hopefully
that
you made it.
it was meant to be that the audio didn't work that last time.
Okay,
So I
good.
like my necklaces really long, everybody. So
Mm.
everyone's different, but I
So
like.
we actually created this piece. It's on the Memorial Market. It's Josh's design. It has no metal. It has no working parts. It's just a bead on a hand braided synthetic sinew cord and tied at the bottom. So, there's no moving parts. It can just go over your head.
So cool.
And we put it in clear glass. What do you think? Oh, I think that's a great length for
Wanted
you.
it right at that little divot in
Oh,
my throat.
good.
Mm,
Great.
cool.
That's awesome.
Thank you. This is so special. It's probably the most special piece of jewelry that I've ever worn,
Oh,
honestly.
wow.
To see you make it and to know that this is from Iceland is just like, it's really wild. So, I mean,
I
I can't imagine.
particularly I particularly loved that you didn't choose any color. You were
Yeah,
like, "I want clear glass, I want the sand to shine,
I wanted to see it.
and
And
I just want" yeah, let it be what it is. And I think that minimalistic idea is very powerful.
yeah, I love being able to see it. And it's a nice shape. It's smooth. The length is good.
Mm,
And if I had ash or a pet, um, or friend or family member, a little bit of
mm,
ash, I think that this is a really, really good option. And to
mhm.
have them close to me is something that I would absolutely do.
And with this length too, you don't have to show it if you don't want, so it's kinda more personal.
Interesting.
It can be under your shirt.
Yeah, you can tuck it if you want, or I would
Mhm,
probably wear it out personally. But
mhm.
beautiful. Okay. What are some of the questions that you get when people are thinking about buying, or maybe in the middle of the process? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to help people that are going to watch this video down the road,
Sure.
and just to really understand the process, and that's going to help you too, because people will come to you and kind of understand better when they start. But what are the recurring questions that you get?
Well, most people don't really understand where the ashes or the hair goes. They they think that I'm gonna send the piece to them and they're gonna add it.
Oh, and because there's so many online on
Yeah,
like Amazon and whatnot, that they have a
yeah,
little opening and you just pour it in, right? And this is
and
so different.
that's good for a lot of people that don't wanna be separated from ashes. Sometimes people really have a hard time putting the ashes in the mail. I only ask for 1 teaspoon.
Mm,
But even just opening the bag is hard for some people during their process of grieving. It's like,
yeah,
I can't. They'll even have the crematorium separate a little bag out for them
yeah,
and have it sent, they'll send it to me then.
that's understandable. Yeah.
So I think initially that's the first question I get most often is I don't
Right.
understand how are the ashes being added? Am I adding the ashes? Are you adding the ashes? Like how's that going? And
Yeah.
in my process, I don't make hollow glass. That's easy enough to buy online.
Hmm.
I embed the sentimental item into the glass while it's molten. So that's basically the big question that I
Got it.
get. Yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah, I think that's a big one. And something that I've learned recently is that the only place where you can actually send ash through is the USPS. I think that some people probably send ash through other services and maybe don't say, but
They do.
I do know that if you tell them it's ash, like let's say at FedEx or another company, they will not send ash.
Right.
Human remains, cremains is what they're called,
Right.
but the USPS will. And this is something that I've thought a little bit about with the memorial market is, if they're across the country, let's say, and they really don't want to send the ash, but they want to create some memorial.
Mhm.
I thought potentially of offering a service where a person would go get it, fly and get it to not put that loved one in the mail. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's a lot of work, but if someone was willing to pay, I thought potentially like a white glove service, which is kind of crazy, but it's just a thought.
Mhm.
Anyway, so if you ever have anybody that really doesn't want to put it in the mail, maybe we could talk about that. But let's say that now you have the ash with you, then are there any other standout questions? And there don't have to be, but if there was anything that stands out to you.
Well, going back to the idea of not wanting to send the ashes, because I still have an order sitting in my studio right now that the woman has not brought herself, and I keep periodically checking in with her, like every 6 months. I'll be like, "Hi, how you doing? How you feeling?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "I'm just not ready yet," but she's also not ready to have me return her money, and she's not ready to go ahead with any other options,
Wow.
because there are other options. If you don't want to send the ashes, we can make a piece that has the intention of love without the ashes. I mean,
Totally.
ashes are really beautiful and meaningful, but there's a lot of different ways to put intention into anything, whether it be glass or metal or whatever it is.
Exactly.
So, that's where I come in, and I can be like, well, what did this person like, or what did they mean to you, or did they have a special color, or could we put their birthstone
Mm.
with a little cubic zirconia in the center of the heart, or whatever it is. Like, there's a lot of different ways to make a memorial piece if you don't have ashes.
Yeah, I think that's
So
a really great
yeah,
option that you offer. Because yeah, I could definitely see how some people just don't want to do that, and that's totally fine.
yeah, and I honor that, because it's a procedure of letting go.
Mm.
And sometimes we can mentally be okay with the procedure of letting go, but then physically it'll hit us.
Yeah,
I have to put this in the mail, and I have to really let it go, and I don't know. It just
yeah,
it can be a little bit of turmoil for people. So I just want to encourage anyone out there listening, that it doesn't matter.
yeah.
Love is love,
Mm.
and whether we put that in there in the form of ash or not, it's
Mm.
okay. We honor the process, and just let's make a piece, you know?
Yeah, I love it. Can we show some of your pieces? I'm gonna put it
Sure. Yeah,
here. Let's
I would
see.
love that.
Still learning this software, but let's see here.
I
Okay.
have lots of pieces on my website to show in my gallery too, if you didn't download.
Okay. Let's see here. This will.
Can direct people to myangelmemorials.com.
Here we go. Let's see. Share bingo. Okay. Can you see that? Let's see. I think
Oh, the memorial market is so full of stuff. How fun.
we
Great
put
jewelry
more.
you got in there.
So we're so new. I'm looking forward to the day when we look back on this first episode and we're like, wow, 57 products. So I want there to be lots of options for people to.
I could add more. I was trying not to be greedy and taking up
No,
the jewelry
be
section.
give
I
them
think
options.
I think I only added like what 15 pieces, so
I
I
know this.
obviously have a lot more than that.
I know this that you have the most listings on the site of anyone, and I love that. And look at your photography is so incredible.
Thank you.
I'm blown away.
Thank
So yeah, everyone, this is the piece that was made for me.
Yes.
And if you like that shape or anything about this, I'm sure she can recreate that. So which one do you want to click on? Let's look around.
The heart is really beautiful. Yeah, that one.
Let's do it. Yeah, your photos are just unreal. And might I say that your prices are very generous.
Well, thank you.
I think watching the work that you do and the time and the care and attention that you put into these pieces, I think that your prices are incredibly fair.
Thank you, Josh. That means a lot to me, because it's as an artist, it's really hard to, place a value on what you do, and it, you know, I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
I want the pieces to be affordable for folks. I want them to be able to get a piece. So
Yeah, I think that's really great. These are definitely affordable options. And I think for the money spent, I think
Mhm.
people are getting an incredible value with this, with the time, I mean, many hours that you're spending on these
Mhm.
between the communicating with the
Mhm.
person, um, the time that you take in the studio and the attention to detail, and then putting it through the what do you call it, the furnace or the
The kiln.
the kiln, yeah, and then that's got to cool, and the packaging and shipping. I mean, that's quite a bit of time for this value. So I just want to emphasize that. Tell us about this piece.
So this is really fun. I do hearts in a lot of different ways because I never intended for hearts to be my big thing, but over I can tell you I make a couple different types. This is one I call it the horizontal heart because it has the holes going through this way as opposed to like this one where the hole is coming in this way. So this is a vertical heart and this is a horizontal heart. And I really enjoy making hearts. I love a big bubble with this point. There's just something magical about making a heart on the torch. So that one is particular. This is another example of what you can do with a horizontal heart. You can put it on a pin if you don't like to wear jewelry. You can just, stick it through your clothes and have it almost, like a flower on your lapel.
Or anywhere, right? On a purse, in a car, up on a visor. I mean,
yes.
put it on a pillow.
A lot of times people say, I don't wear jewelry. And I say, well, you don't have to wear jewelry. This can be worn as jewelry. That's an option. But it can hang in a car. Like you said, it can hang in a window. It can be on an altar. It can sit next to your computer. It can be in a place that was meaningful for them. I also make this bead called I call it the vacation bead. I take my father every time I go someplace new and fun that I think my father would have enjoyed in life. I take him in a little vacation bead. So I have his ashes in a little bead. And then I have a picture. I don't think it's on your site. It's probably on mine. But I have a picture of the vacation bead where I'm dropping him in Maui into the ocean in this very famous coral reef. So he's sitting in the coral reef and the fish are just floating around him. And it makes my heart sing that he got to go to Maui, and be there. So, you don't have to wear pieces. They can be just adornments for your life, basically, to remind you.
Something that I love the idea of light, this being in a window and light shining through and seeing, that reflect in a room somehow, or just lighting up, being bright in the window when the light hits it.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm sure you have done pieces like that. Tell me about, let's talk about pets, right? So many people lose their little loved ones.
Yes.
Do you get many inquiries for pet memorials in the jewelry space here?
I have a whole website dedicated to pets.
Wow.
So I had a very wonderful deaf border collie come into my life. Her name was Shadow. And she changed my life. I mean, she opened my husband and my heart in a way that I don't think could have happened any other way. And she is actually the reason that my business is called My Fur Angel for the pets, and that my human site then became My Angel Memorials, because she was my little fur angel. I mean, she was just incredible, and she touched our lives in a way that was just profound. And I wanted to dedicate that to her. So I have a site that just deals with fish and bunny rabbits and birds and cats and dogs. And I did one for a little guinea pig once. And the fun of working with pets is, first of all, pets are just pure love, pure unconditional love. This is one of the great joys of working with a pet.
Yeah.
But you can also do the color of their eyes, or the color of their coat, or the color of their favorite collar or harness. We usually associate some sort of color with the pet that we love. Maybe it was, a blanket that they slept on all the time.
Totally. What do you get the most requests for? Cats or dogs?
Oh gosh. Probably dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, because dogs, I mean, you know how people can be with their dogs. You can be so dedicated to a specific breed of dog too. So even if your dog hasn't passed, you might just like to sport the breed. So I have a a special machine that most people don't know how to use, and I make these little molds out of graphite, so I can put hot molten glass into the mold, and it comes out with the shape. And so I have a whole bunch that I've made of breeds of dog. I've got some cats, I've got some bunny rabbits and a fish, and I plan on making a lot more of those.
Yeah, you showed me that. That's really cool that you can make a piece in the same shape as the breed, right?
And so say we made a Labrador head, right? That's a famous dog that a lot of people really love. And so you can make the head blue. You can make it purple, or you can send me a picture and I can match the color of your dog and not only have his face, but have it in the color that he actually was. Or if that's a little too on the nose for you, we can just do a heart and have it the color of your dog.
Right.
So I don't know. I think pets are just this really, beautiful, at least for me in the studio. It's just a beautiful process to work with somebody that's lost a dog. It's like we love them so deeply and so purely, but we also have this, sense of they're not going to be here forever. So we kind of let them come and go out of our lives a little bit easier than we do humans. They touch us differently, and we allow them differently. And so I find that working with pets is just really fulfilling for me. I really like making pet pieces.
Yeah. And I know you're so close with your pets too.
I am.
I think we might see some photos here in a minute, but
oh my God.
Let's see here. Okay. So,
I used to be a cat person. Shadow totally made me a dog person. I switched over. I mean, I love all animals, but there's a definite thing about being a cat or a dog person, and I switch sides.
Can you see what I'm seeing, these photos?
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. I'm just going to pop through a couple of these. So this is your beautiful studio. You want to talk about just your studio for a second? I know you had lots of cool stuff about it.
I love to talk about my studio. My husband built me this studio, and it's incredible. He's an engineer, and so he can just build or fix anything. He's just an amazing man. And I said, hey, let's go to Home Depot and let's just get it. I just want my studio out of the trailer. I want a full-on studio. I was thinking like $1,000, build it in 2 hours type of a shed. And a year later, let me tell you, there he is. A year later, I have this absolutely incredible, built better than a house, my specs studio where I have everything exactly where I want it. In my bench area, I've got every window, every outlet, everything is exactly to my design. And it's the studio that love built. And I'm really, really proud of it. And I'm so happy that I can do this kind of love work in that kind of a space. Oh, yeah. There's Luch.
I knew there was going to be some of this. Oh, it's so good. Hang on, let's see what else we have. Oh, here we go. This is cool.
Oh, you took some fun videos that day.
Yeah, I tried. Yeah. Some really great shapes. I love these ones.
Yeah, so I have all kinds of shapes, but as far as the molds go that we were talking about, I also have what I call statues. So they're of the human variety. So I've got a really beautiful woman, and I've also got a statue of David, and I'm going to be expanding that line as well. I'm going to make some other cool goddess type beads.
I love the idea that basically whatever someone can dream up, there's a good chance that you're going to be able to either do exactly that or something close to that. And I just think personalizing these is really the key touch, right?
Well, yeah. And it's the joy for me. I mean, I like to make green hearts, but if I had to just be in the studio making green hearts all day, that would, it's not as fulfilling as connecting with somebody and making a piece just for them. That's just a whole different level of excitement.
Yeah, totally. Let's see what else we got here. I just love these shots. These are so good. You're so happy there. That's your happy place, I could tell. And I appreciate you inviting me in there.
Anytime.
Okay, so what's the future for your jewelry making? What do you see in this year? Maybe tell us about that.
Well, this year I expect to work with the Memorial Market.
Hmm,
I expect
great idea.
you to get your wings spread and fly because us collaborating is got so much potential to it. I'm really, really excited about it. That you could touch more people than I've been able to touch
Yeah.
in just my little website and my little world. You being able to go out there and do what I can't do, so that I can do what I do,
Hmm.
is what I'm looking forward to this year.
Wow, that's really sweet of you to say. Thank
Yeah.
you. Um, I feel that. I've always been a connector in my life, and I think you are too.
Mm.
And when my grandma was passing, she was in hospice, and I was looking up uh, options for cremation memorials. I had a spreadsheet, and I was finding people like yourself, and I would sit there at night, and I would tell her the options that we had, and um, it just something inside me said that we need to tell people about these vendors, about these incredible creative humans that are making these amazing things, whether it's a product or a service, or there's just so many cool things out there.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that like the first interview is you, because like you are so dedicated to this craft, and you're like, everything you do with it is so heartfelt and unique, and that embodies exactly what I feel like this industry needs. And I'm sure not everybody cares as much as you do, and I hope to only work with people that put this
Mhm.
type of love and attention into it like you do. um,
I
it's
hope
a,
that for you too.
yeah, it's a really special and um, hard time for a lot of people. And I think that something that's really great about what you do and other memory makers, I'm kind of coining this term, and that I kind of help to do, is I'm hoping that we can help people flip the script a little bit. And when this hard thing happens, that we can celebrate.
Mm.
And the process of working with you and customizing and creating something really special that like really embodies their spirit,
Yeah.
I think that that is something to be celebrated. And then, you know, having that memory close to you to be able to touch and to think about and see in the mirror and have people ask about,
Mhm.
that keeps the spirit alive, and it brings joy in a lot of ways. And
Yeah.
so I'm hoping that we can flip the script a little bit and make more joy and more celebration around death and the passing of pets and humans together.
Well, I mean, life is short.
Sure is.
We're all going.
Yeah.
So
Perfect
why
accent.
don't we have a really good time while we're here and enjoy each other and spread goodness and love and connection?
Yeah.
If we all did it, imagine what this world would be like.
Yeah.
And, I'm called to do this. You might be called to do something else, but we can all do it,
Yeah.
and just do it in our own way.
Well, you're doing a good thing. I appreciate. What are we? 43 minutes. Is there anything that you wanted to mention that I didn't really ask you about? I think that we covered, quite a bit of good stuff.
We did.
Yeah,
I just really like that we're getting out there now.
yeah, totally. We gotta tell people.
Yeah.
I mean, um, there's so many cool things, cool options, and they're located on page 36 of Google.
Uh-huh.
That people just don't know they're out there. And so I'm hoping that we can tell people what's out there, and they can choose an option that really resonates with them, and
Mhm.
brings them joy with, when remembering this person or
Well,
pet.
that's what I appreciate about what you're doing in the Memorial Market, because in my world, it's all jewelry,
Hmm.
and I love that you have, like, trees.
Yeah.
I mean, trees are my other passion, and I
Yeah.
was like, "He does trees." Oh my god, that's so cool. Not just planting a tree, but putting you know, like a plaque on a
Yeah,
tree and watching that tree grow. I mean, how incredible is that? Making a
totally,
forest, I can't think of a better thing to do than to make a forest on this planet. I
totally.
mean, what a beautiful thing to do, like, let life go on in the name of someone else. And, you know, having people take your person up and, you know, you
Outer
have so
space,
many options on your site. Take them up in a
totally. And
helicopter or a plane,
it's
you know, outer
there's one hot air
space. I don't
balloon.
know what you're gonna do next.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the sky's the limit, literally. And so my one thing that I will say is this: I really want to keep everything on the site as very unique
Mhm.
and very bespoke, right?
Right.
I want only vendors that really put love and care and attention into what they do, not just quickly making things or whatever it is. And I want them to be very unique because it's really easy to Google, you know, urns, and you can just see a bunch of just, you know, basic things. But
Right.
everything on the memorial market should be very unique. And so I think we're on a really good path, and I appreciate all the products that you put on, and I can't wait to see more and see where this goes with
Okay.
both of us.
Be
And
careful what
I
you
want to add
ask
one more
for.
thing too. So there's a bunch of trees about to go on the side. I'm really excited, but I just want to put this out there to everybody. Um, you know, you can do multiple things. Let's say you have some ash of a pet or human. Um, there's no reason that you can't put a lot of that ash at the base of a tree, and then also have you, Michi, make a piece of jewelry for every person in the family, right?
Yes.
So it's not just about one thing, whatever works for you. And I love the idea. I've already planned out my kind of memorial, and it has to do with lots of things. And
Oh,
so, yeah, so it's kind of interesting. We'll get
well,
into
I
that
love
another day, but yeah, feel free to do multiple things, right? It doesn't just have to be one
yeah.
thing. And I think that jewelry by nature is such a great addition to any other memorial that someone chooses on the site. For
Mhm.
example, if they want to go spread or scatter rather ash at sea,
Mhm.
why not also make a piece of jewelry for the family members, right?
Sure.
And
Yeah,
friends. So
right.
I just think they go so well together. Those things, jewelry goes so well with, or
Agreed.
just a pendant or whatever it is they want. But you know, it looks so good in the glass that you do. So
Thank you, Josh.
anyway, all right, everyone, you can find all of Michi's work on the Memorial Market, and you
Mhm.
can reach out to her if you have questions. Message, just click on any product, and you can send a message there. And she's going to be adding more products all the time. I'm excited to see
Okay.
them.
Now that
And
I know you want it.
thank you so much for my piece. I really, really love
You're
it.
welcome. We got the perfect length. I'm glad.
Yeah,
Don't have to remake it.
cool. Well, thank you for taking the time to do this. And like, this is number one. This is a big deal. So thank you. I'm really excited. It seemed to go pretty good. Like I like the software. It works good.
All
So
right, cool.
well, maybe we'll have you back on in a while, and we'll talk more about like
Okay.
how new stuff you're doing and whatnot.
Anytime.
Cool. All
It's
right,
my
you're the
pleasure,
best. I
Josh.
love you. Thank you for taking the time.
Love you back.
All right,
Kisses.
bye. We'll talk soon.
Ciao.